You sell the guy. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. What is going on here? I demand an explanation.
I want to congratulate the Atlanta Braves, who I just saw win against the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to the World Series. Maybe we win by the time this comes out. I don't know.
For all those who don't care, we're just here to watch movies and talk about them.
So we're doing another Kubrick. Everybody who watches this channel knows that I am a Kubrick-centric fanboy. And this film in particular, I remember watching this. I was around, I don't know, it was maybe like 17. And I would never, ever watch a black and white film. Ever. I was like, oh, black and white, it means old, horrible film, right?
Well, which is interesting because you said you'd watch Apocalypse at 13, right? So
But it wasn't black and white.
No, but I'm saying is like you already knew there was like an artistic sense to his film.
So I was like literally going through the channels, and I clicked through, and this black and white movie came on. I just started watching it, and I couldn't stop watching it.
Right,
It caught my attention.
Did you know it was Kubrick?
No,
That's
I knew nothing about Stanley Kubrick. Zero.
So that's interesting. So you knew you liked a movie, but it wasn't necessarily like, oh, this is the artist I'm going to follow.
No, I knew.
That's
I
great.
literally.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I knew nothing about him. Well, I'd seen The Shining and some of those other films at the time, but I didn't connect that was the same filmmaker. Yeah. What do you know about it, if anything?
I don't know anything. I know it's in black and white, and I know there's going to be at least one meme shot or probably meme thing that I have seen. Other than that, I do not know anything about this movie. I saw that.
Well, so anyway, the one other thing about this is it was based on a book, and the book was deadly serious. This film is a comedy.
Okay.
And you'll see.
This is a Kubrick comedy.
It's a comedy. He actually, Lolita was a comedy, a certain amount of comedy.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a very dark comedy.
Okay. So the Ultimate Weapon's been a thing for a while.
Huh?
The Ultimate Weapon has been a thing for a while.
I mean, this is
the weapon of mass destruction.
This is at the height of nuclear war. Could happen
at
any minute.
The weapons of mass destruction have been a thing for a while.
Yeah, well, ever since the nuclear age, for
this
sure.
This is true.
Well, he wrote it too.
I love the Rosie soundtrack to war.
Yeah.
It's like the softcore porn of fueling.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is right there. You just nailed it on the head. Literally. Day for night. Definitely day for night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see that. That's day for night, yeah.
Yes, sir. The confirmation will just come in.
The base is being put on condition red.
Condition red, sir, yes. Very good idea. Keep the men on their toes.
Group Captain, I'm afraid this is not an exercise.
Not an exercise, sir.
It looks like we're in a shooting war. I want you to transmit Plan R.
Is it that bad, sir?
Looks like it's pretty hairy.
Is that a plane in front of a green screen?
Probably a model.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's real footage. That's not.
Yeah, like it's a model in front of. Well, you're right, not a green screen, but footage.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was 1960s. So.
No, but I was also that's what green screen is now, right? Like just the practical. Nice. I will tell you this. This always gets me how tight those quarters are. Like they're tiny. To equate that to filming in that space, like you're obviously cheating a lot of it. It's impossible to film in a fucking plane.
It's not a plane though.
I know you think this is crazy, but I just got a message from base over the CRM 114, and he called his wing attack Plan R. Did you say wing attack Plan R? Wait a second, I'm coming back.
Wait, what? What the F? Nice little zoom back. That's amazing. Let's add the physical comedy. Wing attack plan. That's amazing. Oh, fuck.
Base confirmed.
Did you recognize that actor?
No, I did not recognize that.
Well, boys, I reckon this is it. Nuclear combat toe-to-toe with the Ruskies.
Well, this guy is Slim Pickens. He was in Blazing Saddles. He was the henchman, the country boy henchman.
Oh my God. First of all, we have to watch that movie.
And then the other guy was James Earl Jones when he was about 25 years old.
He put on a cowboy hat, but he took it out of a lock vase. Safe.
James Earl Jones.
That's James Earl Jones?
That's James Earl Jones.
I'd say that you're all in line for some important promotions and personal citations with this.
Yeah, right after everybody's dead.
Mark, should I get it?
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just catching up on some of the General's paperwork.
Looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
General Turgidson, a Colonel Puntridge calling.
Tell him to call back.
The General says, could you call back in a minute or two? The thing is, the General is in the powder room right now. Could you tell me what it's
The
about?
general's in the powder room, right?
Just a second. Apparently, they monitored a transmission about 8 minutes ago from Burleson Air Force Base.
Said something R.
It decoded as wing attack, plan
Yep,
R.
plan R.
The General suggests
I love that
you
shot
call
in the
General
mirror.
Wicker, the 845
It looks so
commander.
great.
I love the sweetness, everything about this scene.
All
is amazing.
communications are dead.
Are you sure it's plan R? Where's my shorts?
On the floor. Where are you going?
Mosey over the war room for a few minutes, see what's doing about
It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
it. The Air Force never sleeps.
We must not allow him to gain entrance to this base.
Profession. Peace is our profession.
Now, if in doubt, shoot first and ask questions after.
When in
I would sooner accept a few casualties through accident than lose the entire base and its personnel through carelessness.
Oh, more. Back to the safe. By wonder, we're all
Johnny comes marching home.
This is your attack profile. The emergency base code
change?
prefix is to be set on the dial to the VRM. Set code prefix.
If it said OMG, I'd be so happy. It's not, but it's fine. Oh!
Code prefix set.
You know what I love is that there's probably a piece of this that is very accurate,
I bet you they went into a lot of
and
detail.
the rest is just farce. You know what I mean? Like they'll tweak the accurate and make it farce.
I bet it is this meticulous.
I don't doubt that they did their research and then they were like, how can we make this silly? I now see it though. That's totally his face. Oh, he's carrying it with him now. Oh, that's a traveling soundtrack.
Portable.
I love it.
That's
I
a
love
portable radio.
Listen to that. Music. Civilian broadcasting.
I thought I issued instructions for all radios on this base to be impounded.
Well, you did indeed, sir, and I was in the process of impounding this very wide when I happened to be gone. I looked myself. We don't want to start a nuclear war unless we really have to, do we? What about the planes, sir? Surely we must issue the recall code immediately.
Group Captain, the planes are not going to be recalled.
You see, if a Russian attack was in progress, we would certainly not be hearing civilian broadcasts. If a Russian attack was not in progress, then your use of Plan R, in fact, your order to the entire wing, It is my clear duty, under the present circumstances, to issue the recall code upon my own authority and bring back the wing. You can't excuse me, sir. I'm afraid, sir, I must ask you for the key and the recall code. Have you got them handy, sir?
There's nothing anybody can do about this thing now. I'm the only person who knows the three-letter code.
Oh shit!
Then I must insist, sir, that you give them to me.
Please, sir. Please give me the codes. Great shot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's a great shot. Shots.
Do I take it, sir, that you are threatening a brother officer with a gun?
Yes, I am.
Mandrake, I suppose it never occurred to you that while we're chatting here so enjoyably, a decision is being made by the President and the Joint Chiefs in the war room at the Pentagon. And when they realize there was no possibility of recalling the wing, there will be only one course of action open: total commitment. Do you recall what Clemenceau once said about war?
Those eye lights are perfect.
Amazing.
They're perfect, man.
Demonic looking.
And also the fall off, like it's just his face.
When he said that,
Right? Like beautifully Rembrandt. And then Rembrandt like on times 1,000. The fall off is brilliant. Also his goddamn cigar is a character at this point.
I can no longer sit back and allow communist infiltration, communist indoctrination, and the international communist conspiracy to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
My guess is that's done at like a not even like a 2 or a 2.8. Like it's probably like a 3.5. So it's not super shallow, but shallow just enough. It's low enough to make him feel like he's in power, but also like at an angle. Right? It's really, really well done. Again, same thing. Low angle.
General Jack Ripper, the commanding
You
general
see the
of,
practicals? That's
Burleson Air Force Base, and that
that's
the order
background. It's
called
fucking amazing.
for the planes to attack their targets inside Russia.
Right? That's their accent like. That's amazing.
I was under the impression that I was the only one in authority to order the use of nuclear weapons.
That's right, sir. You are the only person authorized to do so. It's beginning to look like General Ripper exceeded his authority.
It certainly does. Far beyond the point I would have imagined possible.
Forgetting the provisions of Plan R, sir.
Plan R?
I admit the human element seems to have failed us here. But the idea was to discourage the Ruskies from any hope that they could knock out Washington and yourself, sir. As part of a general sneak attack.
Then why haven't you radioed the planes countermanding the Go Code?
Now, in order to prevent the enemy from issuing fake or confusing orders, CRM 114 is designed not to receive at all, unless the message is preceded by the correct three-letter code group prefix. However, we are plowing through every possible three-letter
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
But since there are 17,000 permutations, it's going to take us about 2.5 days to transmit them all.
Oh man.
How soon did you say the planes would penetrate Russian radar cover?
About 18
Yes.
minutes. They are on their way in, and no one can bring them back. So let's get going. There's no other choice. We will prevail, and in true health, through the purity and essence of our natural fluid. God bless you.
That delivery is amazing.
You assured me there was no possibility of such a thing ever occurring.
I don't think it's quite fair to condemn a whole program because of a single slip.
That's exactly.
I want to speak to General Ripper on the telephone personally.
I'm afraid that's impossible.
I am becoming less and less interested in your estimates of what is possible and impossible.
Of course.
Look at that face.
Hello?
Gosh. Yeah.
I told you never to call me here. Don't you know where I am? Well, look, baby, I can't talk to you now, but my president needs me. I deeply respect you as a human being. Someday I'm going to make you Mrs. Buck Turgis. Don't forget to say your prayers.
Oh Lord Jesus, this is so good.
His expressions.
He's great. He's perfect.
It is the avowed policy of our country never to strike first with nuclear weapons.
The General Ripper has already invalidated that.
Yes, he has.
It's to choose between two admittedly regrettable, but nevertheless distinguishable post-war environments. One where you got 20 million people killed, and the other where you got 150 million people killed.
You're talking about mass murder, General, not war.
I'm not saying we wouldn't get our hair mussed, but I do say no more than 10 to 20 million killed, tops, depending on the break.
This whole scene is two people, and it's fucking brilliant.
Peter Sellers and George C. Scott.
Who's who?
George C. Scott.
George C. Scott all day.
Yes, it is, General.
Am I to understand the Russian ambassador is to be admitted entrance to the war room?
That is correct.
I don't know exactly how to put this, sir, but are you aware of what a serious breach of security that would be? I mean, you'd see everything. You'd see the big board.
That is precisely the idea, General. That is precisely the idea.
See the big board. Holy Bible.
Russian phrase book and Bible. $100 in gold, 1 issue of prophylactics, 3 lipsticks, 3 pair of nylon stockings.
A fella could have a pretty good weekend in Vegas with all that stuff.
Yeah, you could. Vegas, here I come. Woohoo!
Try one of these Jamaican cigars, Ambassador. They're
Nope.
pretty good.
Thank you, no. I do not support the work of imperialist stooges.
Oh, only commie stooges, huh?
Yep, only Comedy Stooges. Never.
You sell your guy.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room. What is going on here? I demand an explanation.
Miss Gentlemen, this is outrageous. I have never heard of such behavior in the war room before. Mr. President, I think they're getting him on the line.
Oh, it gets better. You haven't even started to see it.
Oh my god! The big board. I love the practicality of that just being there.
Yeah.
Like the room is so big. Sorry that they.
So, by the way, George C. Scott played General Patton in the movie Patton, and he's playing 3 parts in this movie. By the way,
Gosh.
I don't know if you can tell which ones.
I'm gonna find this. I mean,
This film is genius. It's just sheer
it's
genius.
absolute genius.
It's sheer.
But also really, really well. Like it's great. It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've done as you asked. Be careful, Mr. President. I think he is drunk.
Well, now, what happened is,
One of our
happened?
base commanders, well, he went a little funny in the head. Well, I'll tell you what he did. He ordered his planes to attack your country. Well, let me finish, Dimitri. Let me finish, Dimitri. Well, listen, how do you think I feel about it? Why do you think I'm calling you? Just to say hello? Of course I like to speak to you. Of course I like to say hello. It's a friendly call. Of course it's a friendly call. Listen, if it wasn't friendly, you probably wouldn't have even done it.
True story. You'd be dead already.
Listen, I've been all over this with your ambassador. It is not a trick. A complete rundown of the targets.
It's just a face, but it's so good.
Systems of the planes. Yes, I mean, if we're unable to recall the planes, then we're just gonna have to help you destroy them, Dimitri. I am as sorry as you are, Dimitri. Don't say that you're more sorry than I am, because I'm capable of being just as sorry as you are.
That doesn't bode well.
I knew you naturally.
The fools, the mad fools.
What's happened?
The Doomsday Machine.
The Doomsday Machine? What is that?
A device which will destroy all human and animal life on Earth.
All human and animal life?
That's nice shooting, soldier.
Tip of my hat to you, sir. Tip of my hat. Yes, that is the first thing you just brought golf clubs to a gunfight. Nope, you brought a gun to a gunfight.
I haven't had very much experience, with those sort of machines, Jack. I've only ever pressed a button in my old spit.
Let me see your golf case. Can I see your golf case, Richard?
Not right now.
The string. I never told you, but you see, gammy leg.
Gammy leg.
Yeah, gone, shot off.
Patrick, come over here. The red coat's
Come over here. Red coat's
when it's detonated, it will produce enough evil radioactive fallout so that within 10 months, the surface of the Earth will be as dead as the moon.
While thorium-G has a radioactive half-life of 93 years.
When they are exploded, they will produce a doomsday shroud.
Is the Premier threatening to explode this if our planes carry out their attack?
The Doomsday Machine is designed to trigger itself automatically.
But surely you can disarm it somehow?
No.
It's an obvious common trick, Mr. President. We're wasting valuable time. Look at the big one.
Look at the big one. I love how well that was performed. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or an accident.
Dr. Strangelove, do we have anything like that in the works?
Mr. President, it is not only possible, it is essential. That is the whole idea of this machine, Deterrence is the art of producing in the mind of the enemy the fear to attack.
Gee, I wish we had one of those doomsday machines.
But this is fantastic, Strangelove. Whole point of the Doomsday Machine is love. If you keep it a secret, why didn't you tell the world, eh?
It was to be announced at the Party Congress on Monday.
That makes sense.
I think Stanley did a lot of that handheld work himself.
Really?
Yeah, he likes to do the handheld fight stuff.
You know what's really interesting is how much of this is reminiscent of future war shots. I know there's only such a way you can shoot something, but it's like you realize when someone's kind of the father of something, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
Jack, tell me, Jack, when did you first develop this theory?
First became aware of it, Mandrake, during the physical act of love. A profound sense of fatigue. Luckily, I was able to interpret these feelings correctly. Loss of essence. I can assure you it has not occurred, Mandrake. I do not avoid women, Mandrake. But I do deny them my essence.
We're lonely, motherfucker.
All
Again, a comedy has better action scenes
Then Dune, yeah.
than motherfucking Dune. I love this lighting.
It's very, very static though. The whole film so far has been very static. Not a lot of moving dolly shots or anything.
No, the only time it is the action shots, handheld.
Well, then now we got a dolly right here.
Those boys are like my children, Mandrake.
Oh, again, low angle, fucking high contrast though. Less eye light in this one, right? Almost looks eviler. There you go.
There
Boom.
you go, a little pop.
Nailed it. Then he looks down again. Yes. Perfect.
That there's nothing wrong with my bodily fluids. Not a thing.
My bodily fluids.
Were you ever a prisoner of
right
war?
today.
Did they torture you?
Yes, they did. I was there. We're having a bit of fun, the swines. Strange thing is, they make such bloody good cameras.
You know,
I love about old school film, right? Like, this is a specific shot, right? We go to the wide. It doesn't match the same
No,
tone.
it
But it doesn't
at all.
matter.
Yeah, shadow's completely gone.
Like, yeah, it doesn't matter though. It's just still, it still sells. It's so cool.
Range 2 miles. Missile still deflecting. Range 1 mile. Missile detonated.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool effecting
That
there.
is amazing effects.
All handheld too.
Wait, what?
All the radio gear is out, including the CRM-114. I think the auto-destruct mechanism got hit and blew itself up.
Well, that's an awful mechanism.
The fire is out. The emergency power is on. Everything seems to check out all right. The radio is gone and we're leaking fuel. If we is flying any lower, why we need sleigh bells on this head. We've got one little glitch on here.
You want to talk to the President of the United States?
I've got to talk to him. And I can assure you, if you don't put that gun away and stop this stupid nonsense,
Rembrandt lighting,
the Court of Inquiry
leading
will give
lines.
you such a
That
brand.
shot is gorgeous.
You'll be
Yeah.
lucky if you end up with.
Okay.
Nice highlight too.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, I'm perfectly serious, operator. The President, yes, the President of the United States. I'm sorry, I haven't got enough change. Could you make this a collect call, operator?
He called locally.
Oh, blast. I'm still 20 cents short. Operator, hold on. I shan't give you a second. Colonel, that Coca-Cola machine. I want you to shoot the lock off it. There may be some change in there.
That's private property.
Colonel, shoot it off! Shoot with a gun! That's what the bullets are for, you twit!
Shoot with a gun!
Okay, but if you don't get the President of the United States on that phone, you know what's going to happen to you?
What?
You're going to have to answer to the Coca-Cola company.
For good measure. Just for good measure.
This is SAC Communications Control. The recall code OPE of the 843 bomb wing.
The board. He's gonna see the board.
Big board.
He's gonna see the big board.
And by the way, this has been the standard for war rooms
Forever.
since this.
Yes. Since then.
That-
Since then.
that circular light,
not
everything.
Just that, but also the circular light. But yeah, sorry, you just said that.
There's a really good version of it in The
Wings
Simpsons.
of the angel of death, fluttering over our heads from the valley of fear.
Nice.
You have seen fit to deliver us from the forces of evil.
Excuse me, sir. Premier Kissoff's calling again, and he's hopping mad.
Mad. Sharing phone lines.
Just a second.
Black gloves. It's just the whole thing.
You know what he says? He says that one of the planes hasn't turned back.
That's impossible, Mr. President. I mean, look at the big board. 34 planes, 30 recalls acknowledged, and 4 splashes. And one of them was targeted for Laputa.
He says their air defense now only claims 3 aircraft confirmed. The 4th may only be damaged. Is this gonna set off the Doomsday Machine? I guess you're just gonna have to get that plane, Dimitri. Dimitri, I'm sorry that jamming your radar and flying so low, but they're trained to do it. You know, it's initiative. Dimitri, there's no point in you getting hysterical at a moment like this.
No, this is exactly the moment
Dimitri,
you get
keep your feet on the ground when you're talking. Dimitri, I'm just worried, that's all. Now look, put everything you've got into those 2 sectors and you can't miss.
You can't beat the casualty of everyone else in the background. They haven't moved through any of this scene. They're always like, here's your position, here's your reaction. And then these two just go back and forth. It's pretty perfect. This is so good.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed, Dimitri, and remember, there's just one thing, we are all in this together. We're right behind you, Dimitri. We're with you all the way. Yes, well, we'll keep the line open. All right, Dimitri. General Turgison, Is there really a chance for that plane to get through?
He can barrel that baby in so low. I mean, you ought to see it sometime. It's a sight. A big plane like a 52. Vroom! It's jet exhaust frying chickens in the barnyard.
Yeah, but has he got a chance?
Has he got a chance? Hell yeah.
Approaching target, a distance 10 miles.
Bomb fusing master safety's on, electronic, barometric time.
Alright, ready the bomb. Just a minor thing. I want a physical button, just saying. Uh-oh.
Bomb door circuits, negative function. Fire the explosive bolt.
Nope. Jesus. Oh, well, what I didn't make it.
Stay on the bomb run, boys. I'm going to get them doors open if it hair lifts everybody on bad tree.
Nuclear word. Hi there.
Handle with care.
Dear John. Fuck you. Oh, wait. No.
Target distance 4 miles.
Roger. 4 miles. Auto CDC in irregular flight.
My nerves can't handle this. Go, 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 go.
Ryan, how is Major Cobb?
Yep. Just thought about that now? Oh, Lord Jesus. He's about to ride one hell of a bull. Oh, shit! He sees... Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go...
I think probably one of the most amazing shots ever even dreamed up.
Hands down.
Right?
Hands down.
Mr. President, I would not rule out the chance to preserve a nucleus of human specimens. Radioactivity would never penetrate a mine some thousands of feet deep.
How long would you have to stay down there?
Let's see now. Cobalt thorium G. Possibly 100 years.
You know, 100 years.
People could actually stay down there for 100 years?
It would not be difficult, mein Führer. Nuclear reactors could... I'm sorry, Mr. President.
One thing out, bye.
Health, sexual fertility, intelligence, and a cross-section of necessary skills. Of course, it would be absolutely vital that our top government and military men be included to foster and impart the required principles of leadership and tradition. They would breed prodigiously, eh? There would be much time and little to do, but with the proper breeding.
He's so, like, enamored.
He's down.
He's down.
Grief-stricken and anxious that they
He's holding
envy the dead and not want to go on living.
No, sir.
This is some of the best of the comedy ever. Oh my god.
Also then, when they go down into the mine, Abraham would still be alive. There would be no shocking combined with a spirit of bold curiosity for the adventure ahead.
9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Holy. Oh.
You mentioned the ratio of 10 women to each man. Wouldn't that necessitate the abandonment of the so-called monogamous sexual relationship? I mean...
Regrettably, yes. But it is, you know, a sacrifice required for the future of the human race. Prodigious service along these lines. The women will have to be selected for their sexual characteristics, which will have to be of a highly stimulating nature.
Mr. President, we must not allow a mine shaft gap.
Nice.
I have a plan. Monsieur has been locked.
I never thought I would see a nuclear war so hilariously. This is nailing the potential reality within the farce of what potential reality is.
Yeah. Once this is over, I'm gonna rewind it so you can watch something that's just in that scene that you didn't see that's hysterical. Watch the Russian guy.
With the eyes?
Watch the Russian guy.
Okay.
Excuse.
He loses it.
He loses it. Of course he does. It's fucking brilliant.
Who are the three people that you think Peter Sellers played in this?
The Montefiore character. So the British guy. I don't know the third.
The president.
Are you kidding me?
No.
He played 3 characters? The president. I didn't notice. I didn't even realize. Dude, that's brilliant. You told me and I still can't see it. I still can't see it.
It's definitely him. And he's a British actor, but his American accent's flawless, obviously.
No, but his mannerisms, like he's
totally different, yeah.
And I get it, like the hair and the glasses and everything, but no, he's 3 different people. You can't, I mean, dude, I literally can't tell. I can't tell. I know you told me, I cannot tell.
I'm telling you, that's him. Okay, well, anyway, we've concluded the movie.
No, but what I was going to say, I think one of the few people who is on par is Eddie Murphy.
He definitely plays he's the one who plays 9 parts in a movie, but,
Yeah. I would have never faded out.
No.
I'd have been looking all day.
So George C. Scott here, who played Patton in Patton, that's probably his most famous film. I think he does an absolutely amazing job playing that character as well.
Oh, he does.
And
like I said, I want a shirt with all his faces. I just want a different shirt. I mean, literally, I could probably give
a calendar of his facial expressions.
Yeah, I could have a calendar of just his facial expressions.
Yeah, and there's a book that he's nuclear yields in mega deaths or something like that as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of written jokes and a lot of pieces on a profession,
a U.S. Russian translation thing. That
they're
using with
there's
the Bible,
a lot of that throughout this.
Thing. Other than a few opening scenes, it's 3 locations.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple film. Yeah.
It's the plane, the war room, and the base. And the base gets kicked out halfway in.
About halfway, yeah.
Halfway in, the base is gone. And then you have the exterior of the base.
Yeah,
right,
his apartment or whatever, yeah.
Right. Bulk of the film are those 3 places.
The war room probably being the most complicated build for this.
But, I mean, again, I love that they practically did this. They made the log cast buffet, and they just kept it. It's just there. Yeah. That's the set. The set is a long ass buffet. The wall, sir. He's gonna see the wall.
The big board. Yeah.
The big board. And then their circle, which again,
there's also this. The Simpsons rips off a lot of Kubrick films, but the Simpsons had a version of the war room in one of their, just like they did a whole version of The Shining as well.
Yeah. I wanna look up what is that as a practical? Is it an actual projection screen? Because that's what they're playing it for. They're playing it for being projection. The board. But they're also just great backlights. They're just amazingly practical backlights.
Like you said, some of those war room scenes that go on for, those are 6-7 minute scenes back and forth dialogue between Mufflin and George C. Scott's character. They're hilarious. And they're just so well done. Of course, when you throw Strangelove into the whole mix, he's kind of the angel of death. They kind of allude to that a couple times. But his little breakdown at the end is pretty hysterical. But I as long as I live, I'll never forget the Bronco busting of a nuclear bomb to the ground. That shit's mind blowing in its conceptualization and its execution.
That's where I've seen it.
What?
When it started to happen, I was like, where have I seen this imagery? And I told you there's probably a sense that I've seen memes of this.
Yeah, it's in the zeitgeist.
It's Simpsons.
Oh yeah.
In Simpsons. That's where I've seen. I was like, why do I know this scene?
The Bronco busting
even
bomb,
before I'm seeing the scene, but it's the meme version of it. But yes, now I get to see the reality of it, which is a great scene.
It's a great scene. It's so well done.
It's so well done.
And it's a great artistic license to make fun of how insane this is.
Also, it's so well established because you have this early, like, him just putting the hat on. But, like, pulling, you know what I mean?
It
like,
really pays off.
It
at the
really
end,
pays off into the end.
Yeah, and I'll also have to hand it to
writing.
Sterling Hayden as well, who played General Ripper. When we watch The Killing, which is another Stanley Kubrick film, he plays in that as well. He's really great. So those low angle shots that you're talking about, like, you see him, and it's like him and his board, the geometry of the board, and his face, and the cigar, and the intensity in his eyes, sort of the demonic possession of the way that he looks in those scenes. Those scenes are just incredibly powerful.
How I like to see Kubrick at this point is he knows when he's going to use a certain thing, right?
Right.
Ideally, it's like, hey, there's certain moments I want to go to here.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to here.
But like, if you look at the difference between that first shot where he's talking about why he's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like the communist indoctrination, communist infiltration, and then he goes to this whole thing, and it sounds like whatever he's about to say is going to be the most serious thing possible. And he says, then the communist plot
to sap and impurify all of our precious bodily fluids.
And you're like, wait, what? What? Every shot we see after that, because he seems super deadly serious up until that point, but every shot after that, he seems much more totally bananas.
Yeah.
And then, like, there's that scene where he goes up to Mandrake, and he gets on, he's like, Mandrake, you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water? And Mandrake's like, yes.
I have an idea of what I think Kubrick is.
Which is what?
Blows this out of the water. You think of scary movies, you think of drama, you think, okay, well, that's a specific archetype. It takes a certain mindset to be able to do that.
Right.
To basically change lanes and do this so well.
But this is something I would say for Kubrick. Every Kubrick movie is almost completely different from the next one.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta say, man, you've introduced me to Kubrick. I also didn't get such a very genre of Kubrick.
But like I said, everything with Kubrick is kind of very genres. He did the only thing that I know of that he didn't do was a musical. So
I'm just saying thank you.
I mean, he's done dramas, he's done comedies, he didn't do a Western. He did Spartacus, which really most people wouldn't consider his film, but there is a film that I think you will like. It's another short one called The Killing that he did, and it's with Sterling Hayden, and it's a caper movie. It's like about a robbery of a racetrack, and it's so tight and it's so good. And then there's some that are like ponderously long but really beautiful. Barry Lyndon is one that in that particular movie they were the one thing you need to see is they were using like a
0.95.
It was like a space lens.
Yeah, 0.95.
Yeah.
It's an astrophysical lens.
They lit it by candlelight.
Yep. Yes. I've heard about this film.
Yeah.
Still have not seen it.
But you talked about Rembrandt lighting.
Lighting. Right.
There are certain scenes in that film where the camera's in the middle of the room, it's just locked off, and the whole room looks like a painting on a wall.
Yeah. It's one of the films that they continue to use as
an example.
Right? As an example of also like lighting by looms.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the 1 foot candle rule and lighting something by the candle foot rule and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Like you light other light.
It's like a film that every cinematographer has to watch at least once before they die. We could go on for hours. I could go on for hours about Kubrick. I could just talk and talk and talk about Kubrick and how much I love him and how much I think he's the greatest filmmaker that ever lived. And you can disagree with me, but you'll never change my mind, so don't bother trying in the comments. Speaking of that, we need more subscribers, and we need people to comment and talk to us, even the people who don't like what the fuck we do. Which, is all good. We always like everybody's comments, even if they don't agree with us, and we laugh too much and have too much of a fun time for some people.
Criticism.
So anyway, like and subscribe us. I do want to shout out TikTok Melody and Jesse Goldsmith.
I will say we enjoy the conversation. We also enjoy learning new things. So getting that insight and that information is always great and is always fun. So please keep them coming.
Keep it coming. And keep the comments coming and like and subscribe. I think I've said that like 4 times, right?
I think 4.
Is that enough?
Yeah, I think that's you.
I think it's enough to get the point across.
I'm going to ask him to shut up.
But I'm going to say like and subscribe one more time. Why not? And then I'm going to end this and say congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for going to the World Series, and God damn it, win.
Whatever he said.
I'm done. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Wait, I'm gonna drop.
Can you
I'm gonna mic drop. What's this goddamn thing?
This is painful for all of us.
Wait, hold on.
I'm doing it live. You get to see it after.
Hey everybody, welcome to the handy dandy info section. So, repping my Carolina Gamecocks and also the Atlanta Braves, who have won the World Series by now. I know some of you may not give a shit about sports, but I do, so be happy for me. It took 26 years. Okay, on to Strangelove. Correction. Major said it was a .095 Nikkor lens. It was .07. I knew it was something. 095's been around for a while. It was .07. 07's a much faster lens. Carl Zeiss planar 50mm .07, partially and originally developed for NASA. In regards to me saying that the handheld work was done by Kubrick, it was done by him and the DP, but he was very active in that. I've noticed in a lot of his films, when you see pictures of him holding the camera, it's usually during a fight scene of some kind. There's a few on Barry Lyndon, for example, and I think he was handling the camera in the scene in Clockwork Orange with Alex. So this is quoting the DP. Stanley could handle the camera, so I told him for all the war stuff, we'll both be on battle dresses and both have air reflexes, and we'll just go in with the men. We'll film it just like combat cameramen. To give the scene an extra gritty feel, Taylor ordered a lot of special film stock that was not fully panchromatic and originally used by the military for copying documents. So it was very contrasty, and I only later found out how slow it was. The information I had was completely wrong, but the scene looks great. So in a way, that the look of that was kind of an accident. So Major asked a question about what was practical on the board and in the war room. So I did a little teeny bit of research here. It says here in this article that I found, even today the war room looks strikingly modern. It's beautiful and also eerie. One of the walls is festooned with huge maps of the world. To get an idea of the sheer size of the war room set, bear in mind that it was built on Shepperton Studio B, which measured 12,000 square feet with a 35-foot high ceiling. It took 150 workers to build the war room with the sheer amount of lighting required to highlight those huge maps, the big board, as George C. Scott, General Turgidson calls it, creating its own unexpected problems, said Ken Adam. What I didn't realize was that there was so much heat generated by all these bulbs, there were at least 1,000, that the maps were blistering away, so we had to come up with various air conditioning ventilation units to cool it down. So it was lit with actual lights. So that was the practicality of it, and seems to be. There's a lot of people who have emulated it, and I'm going to show you these pictures here. At the UN, Putin has a sort of war room, like it's been ripped off and put into sort of real world action. Airbnb, one of their conference rooms, is designed to look exactly like it. Major asked if the fall that George C. Scott takes in one of the scenes when he's talking about the big board, it was an actual accident that happened, but George C. Scott kept running with it. So there was a lot of people talking about how Kubrick got that performance out of George C. Scott. Scott wanted to play it a lot more sort of normal, and Kubrick wanted that manic, almost overacting version that we got in the film, and sort of lied to George C. Scott and told him that he was just wanted him to try it at an extreme as an exercise to sort of see where how far we can go this way or how far we can go that way. And so he ended up using those takes that he pushed him as far as possible to sort of go and be crazy. Oh, in regards to how meticulous the bombing procedure and some of the actual basis for this is, there's an article here in the New Yorker from 2014 talking about the reality of this, and a lot of it was very, very, very real. During the 1950s and 60s, the always in American war planning was given far greater precedence than the never. Although 2 terms in office beginning in 1953, President Dwight D. Eisenhower struggled with the dilemma. He wanted to retain presidential control of nuclear weapons while defending America and its allies from attack, but in a crisis, those 2 goals might prove contradictory, raising all sorts of difficult questions. What if Soviet bombers were en route to the United States, but the president somehow couldn't be reached? What if the Soviet tanks were rolling into West Germany, but a communications breakdown prevented NATO officers from contacting the White House? So basically that was all this stuff that was the basis of this in the film was an actual consideration. And so this idea of the coded CRM 114 that exists in the movie was something that was fought over quite strenuously for a long time, but they did eventually add a coded ability to call back planes eventually. So, but for a while it sounds like they were kind of winging it. There was also a pie scene in the film that was shot but was never actually included in the final cut. It didn't make it. Also, since we spent so much time talking about Peter Sellers playing 3 roles, he was actually supposed to play 4 roles in the film. He was originally going to play Major Kong. There are some photos of him playing Major Kong, but they went with Slim Pickens, and I think that ended up being a very good choice. Also, Slim Pickens was not given any of the other parts of the script of this film, so they allowed him to believe that the film was completely serious, and that's exactly how they wanted him to play it, and it worked quite well. So anyway, having said that, that concludes this week, and we look forward to getting another one out to you next week. Peace. See you guys later.